What can we get into today? How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Joshua Albo. Not exactly sure what we're going to talk about in the video yet today. I got to go get my list. I guess you know what we're going to do? Let's do a daily habits video. So in today's video, with the cool little montage in the background, I'm going to be going over my personal daily habits list, ways I definitely need to improve, ways I've improved in the past, $3 what giveaways that I can show you how to sign up for. There's no work involved, there's no like labor involved with that, there's no thinking, it's just signing up for different things stuff. That's where the real fun is. Instagram's a marketing tool, but it's good for selling. Double with the cost of, because the way I like to set it up, the reason I'm priced where it's at is if I can guarantee virtually, but in the coaching that I do, working with people, and even in my own life, I've noticed that we all have these goal lists, right? I prefer written goal lists, which is one of my daily habits. Writing my goals in the morning, writing my goals before bed. So first and last things, as well as my gratitude journal. But with the goal list, let's say I have a goal list of the most men, most guys, the hard way, which is the slow way, and we want to go fast together. Car, right? And with that, too often I see people leaving it at just that. So they'll just have the goal of the six-pack abs, or the biceps a certain inch, or the certain amount of income for $20,000 a month, or the BMW, or the specific Rolex, or the specific like chain, or whatever that goal is. But with that, too many people leave it at that. I know I've left it at that in the past, and then when I don't hit my goals, I set high-ass goals that I not know I can't hit, but know I'm not necessarily going to hit immediately. So it at least forces me to level up my thinking. Because if I'm sitting there, how can I make an extra $1,000 a month, versus I'm sitting there and saying, how can I make an extra $1 million a month? $1,000 a month is really easy to scale up to. You can just sign up for free shit and make $5,000 a month. Anybody can, right? Like, that's not difficult at all. You can do the affiliate marketing programs. There's so many ways to make. You could go door to door and sell shit, and as long as you make $30 a day, that's about $1,000 a month. So that $1,000 a month isn't impressive, and there's no leverage of other people or other teams or other systems to that. But if I start saying, okay, shoot, how am I going to make $1 million a month, $1 million a year, let alone $1 million a month? It makes me start thinking, okay, if I know that I can do $20,000 in sales or $40,000 in sales or whatever the case may be, and I leverage that to an employee who can do another $20,000 in sales, and I'll make $5,000 on that, or I'll make 15, whatever the case may be, depending on the incentive set up for them. Now you're thinking way more bigger and expansively, versus before it was only about things that you could do. Now you're starting to leverage your mind as well as the mind of others, put enough incentives in place for other people, and that's how you start building a team. That's how you start building something bigger picture, long term, versus just making your $80,000 a year, traveling all the time and being happy. How can you create way more value for way more people? It's just way more expansive. So back to the goal setting side. Aside from setting goals that are too small, the thing that I would miss in the past was just leaving it at the goals and not setting up the systems in place. So let's say I write my goal, I want to make $20,000 a month. I write that every day in the morning, I write that every day at night. And I see that, but then for the next 3 years, I just keep seeing it. And I'm not making a plan, because this is where it comes down to the habits. To make that $20,000 a month, I have to know that I need to make $645 a day. Now, to make $645 a day, I might not only need to make one call, I might need to make 3 sales calls. I might need to sell 4 things online, on eBay, on Mercari, on Facebook Marketplace. I might only need to sell 1 car and make a week's worth of pay. Or I might only need to sell 1 social media client and make 2 to 4 days worth of pay. So what does that how do you break down the habit? How do you break down the goal into habits that get you the daily thing that you want? I guess a quick snippet I could throw in here was creating an ideal day. Like, if you could do anything for a day, what would you do? Whether it includes working out, play, what you would eat, would you go? Would you go get a massage? Would you go golfing? Like, what would your perfect day be like? Write that down on paper. Yes, it takes you time to sit down and actually think about that. But you can't make the excuse that, my life is not where I want to be yet, but you're not taking the time when these are very simple, easy steps. These aren't asking you to call other people and try and be a salesperson if you're completely uncomfortable talking to other people. This isn't asking you to have any skill in the drop shipping side, or how to run Instagram ads, or how to run influencer marketing, there's no skill set here. This is purely, can you write on paper in whatever language you decide that you can understand. Very, very simple, but you have to have the desire and you have to take the action. This is the base level beginner. If you're not willing to do this, then just give up on success. And we all know that you can all are capable of doing this. So I urge you and I encourage you to do this. So back to my daily habits. First thing in the morning, when I wake up, I do my gratitude list. I fill out a page, all the things I'm grateful for. I used to do where I do one page of things I'm grateful for currently, and then another one where it's like more of a manifestation type thing. It was what am I grateful for in the future, as if I've already received it. Don't do the second one as much now because I do the goal setting after, so it's all about things or experiences or X things that I want to experience or want to have in my life. So the first one's the daily gratitude list. The second one is goal setting. So I copy out my goals from the day before. I promise you, one of the most fulfilling things is when you get to when the day comes, the next day, and you finally hit that goal, whether it's an income thing, whether it's a car thing, whether it's a closing on a specific deal thing, and you get to that next day and you get to cross it out, whether it's on a whiteboard or a piece of paper or whatever it is. Crossing it out is extremely, extremely fulfilling because you can finally see, okay, I wrote this goal to close this client 2 weeks ago and it's finally coming to fruition. Like it's a phenomenal fulfillment feeling of, okay, and I get the side of everything is so easy. Social media, everything looks so easy. Everything is, you want Amazon, you can one click it type thing. So everything comes to us so easy. So the delayed gratification side, this kind of helps with that too. But it forces you to see, and I'm in sales. Like I live for the one call closes where I'm on the phone for 15 minutes, a half hour, and I make $5,000. I live for those. Everybody does. And because I had, like, especially, this was what, 3-4 years ago when I first started, I had some of them so easy. One of the things I've had to overcome is getting past the idea that it is super easy. It's super simple. I think it's super easy too, but I had like very, very easy success. But the reason it was so easy is because I also work my ass off more than anybody in the world on the back end that I don't show. And it's not necessarily hard labor, but it is the more difficult work, which is the thinking and the planning and the strategizing and putting it all together, in my opinion. So after I do my daily journal list for gratitude, things I'm grateful for, there's neuroscience behind why you're supposed to do it, and it starts you off in a positive attitude. I don't necessarily buy into the idea of, oh, just be happy and positive and everything's gonna go phenomenal for you. But negativity blocks creativity neural pathways wise in your brain. So there's the science behind it. There's some really good documentaries I've watched on that. There's a really good podcast I listened to on Patrick Bet-David's Valuetainment podcast the other day. The #1 best podcast I've ever listened to ever in my life, of any episode ever, of anything. And it was all about the psychology behind a positive attitude and the science behind it and what it does and how it works with your brain and your mind. So would highly recommend that. I could probably drop a link in the bio on that. So then the next thing I do after the journaling is my goal setting, write down all my goals. After that though, I'll break down all of my goals into the steps that I have to take that day. So if I want to if it's an income thing, how many calls do I have to make? Whatever your stream of income is, whatever your multiple streams of income are you doing the daily discipline actions and hit those goals long term? Because if you're making your $645 a day, let's call it $20,000 a month. If you get one social media client a day, how many people do you need to talk to? That might be 10, that might be 1, that might be 100, depending on your closing rate, depending on the value you bring to them, depending on the way you communicate the value that you bring to them. So break all these numbers down, have them written in front of you, because then it's just math. If you know that you make 5 calls and you'll make that $645, and let's say you don't work weekends, so you take 6 days off of that, so you had an extra $2,400 or $3,000 or $3,600 to the total amount. That's fine. It's all based on your thing, but you have to know what you hit. And it's a lot easier to do it and compound it when you're doing the consistent actions. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. If you're doing it one day and then you take 5 days off and then you do it another day, even if you're hitting those numbers, it's going to be a lot. I don't think it makes any sense to do it that way. At least for me. If it makes sense to do it for you, I used to do this in the past. When I was in 2017, when I was on vacation for 8 months of the year, but I had a phenomenal financial year, I was fine with only working a couple hours in the afternoon or only working on maybe a weekend or two because the sales were already set in place and the system was made. So I wasn't working in the system, I was working on the system, which is more so mind work and strategy, not labor, which pays much better, I promise. So after my goal list, I break down the goals, so the daily habits I have to do. I can put this at the end of this video or at the beginning because the night before each day, got this from Sam Ovens, Alex Becker talks a little bit about it, but we're planning your day the day before, the night before bed, before the gratitude journal and the goal setting at the end of the day, planning your full day, scheduling by the hour. Dan Penny is even more strict on this I think it's by the hour, but he breaks it down like by the minute on something. But planning your day the day before so that you know the schedule and the system's already set in place so that you're not using any mental capacity to think about what you have to do that day, which is the same reason why Zuckerberg wears gray t-shirts and Steve Jobs wore the same outfit, because that's a thought that you don't have to any longer use, because it's already planned. It's systematized for you. You don't have to think about it. The thinking takes the power. Like, thinking takes energy. So let's say, depending on what time I'm going to bed, planning out the next day by the hour previously, so that I already have it all broken down, including all these habits that I'm breaking down are in the plan. And then first thing in the morning, or depending on my sleep schedule, because I really switch up my sleep schedule a lot. I'll either have like a completely normal sleep schedule, or I won't sleep at all, and I'll be up till like 5 a.m. I'll sleep maybe like 7 to 12, get a couple hours, and then stay up from 12 to 5 a.m. again the next day. So when I'm doing that, I usually go to the gym at night from like a 1 to 3 a.m. range, anywhere from only for an hour or half hour. But one of the other daily habits is going to the gym every single day, switching it up. Finally got a gym membership again. I took probably like 8 months off from going. No excuse why. I have no reason why. It's just stupidity to not go. But that's definitely one of my daily habits. And then for me, another one, because of the businesses I'm in, a daily prospecting routine, a daily follow-up routine to follow up with prospects you have previously spoken with, whether that's shooting out like an email blast campaign, or just following up on DMs, or shooting a text to them. And this would be more on the sales side type habits, but I guess we could put a cover all about just having a habit of daily follow-up with all your prospects, and most importantly, all of the people that are already current clients. Another one on my list is, aside from, I have the habit of posting on my daily Instagram stories multiple times a day. I just joined with I Come Up Marketing, and they're going to be managing my social media for growth and lead generation now. So big shout out to them. I think it's going to be the best, one of the easiest and best investment, like no-brainer investments I've ever made. But one of the habits there would be daily posting on whatever platforms you're using to generate leads for your business. Mine specifically being Instagram and YouTube. The next habit I'm going to do after that. So daily posting, I would say I'm going to be posting daily on my Instagram as well, like on the timeline feed, but definitely daily posting on the story-wise side. And then also, I'd probably slack on this a little bit, but shooting a daily YouTube video. Creating the habit after the 63 days or whatever of every single day making YouTube videos, and then I'm at least putting free value add out there so that more people can hear about it, and then that grows the business long term. One of my other favorites, definitely, is usually at least an hour of daily reading. Can go up to 4 or 5 some days, not often, but I used to read so much, so much. But definitely creating a daily reading habit. Even if it's 20 minutes, half hour before bed, there's just no excuse to not, because the way you can look at a book is if you get $1,000, if you get $1 that you can scale continuously forever. But let's say you only get let's say you get $1,000 of information out of a book, and every page you're looking for that $1,000. Grant Cardone would probably say looking for $1 million. Like, think bigger than I am right now. So let's say every page you're looking for that $1,000, and every book, let's say you make that $1,000. You read 1,000 books, there's your first $1 million. If you execute on it. So you have to be executing on it at the same time. That's the biggest key of all. So taking the actions once you get the knowledge, but 100% need to be reading daily. There's no changing my mind on that at all. And I guess the last, aside from eating, I eat every day, and drink lots of water. Drink lots of water every day. That's definitely a huge one. The last daily habit that I guess I'll add to this list is going to be meditation. Huge. I can't say enough about the value of meditation, from the calming down side, from the clarity of thinking side, just the deep breaths alone. There's a bunch of medical science stuff where it talks about like your body frequency and your heart rate and your mind frequency and all these different things that I'm not an expert on. I know about it. I could keep up in a conversation about it, but I can't give you the science behind it. There's doctors, there's scientists, there's PhDs. I can tell you way more about that. I can only tell you the impact it's made in my life. Between the gratitude list and the meditation, I probably do maybe every 3 days. I should do it more often. But the past month, this year so far, I've been pretty good. I've probably meditated 85 to 90% of the days. So I gotta pat myself on the back a little bit there. But absolutely huge impact. Try it for a month. You'll see what I mean. Thank me later. You're welcome. So those are my daily habits. There's my daily habits list. Daily gratitude journal. Daily goal setting twice a day. Daily planning of the day. Daily follow-up to prospects and current clients. Daily gym. Drinking water every day. Daily reading. And daily meditation. I think I got all of them. Thank you so much for listening to the audio today. Hope the video was kind of cool too, right?